Welcome to the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. Of course, I am Nick Cameron of Glacially Musical, joined by my good friend, a man. If you've got one thing to say, he's got five. Keefy Quintuples. How we doing today, buddy?
If you're 555, then I'm 666. What it means to
Oh.
be a heretic.
All righty. Once again, welcome again to another episode of the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, swearing, and vinyl. If you are here for our new series on the early episodes of Mastodon, thank you. Here are the departments of the show: beer check, vinyl check, news check, shirt check, meat of the day. Now, time for the beer check. The Glacially Musical Beer of the Week for Nick Cameron is Voodoo Ranger IPA. Have drunk it many times on this podcast. And here's the deal. There was an officer-involved shooting, which made me have to go a different way. So I could not go to the grocery store I wanted to go to, and I could not get the good grocery store. So that's my beer check. What you got today?
Just to clarify, was an officer shot or did an officer shoot someone else?
An officer shot someone else. He is presently alive and also suffering from apparently what they are calling a self-inflicted stab wound. I don't know, man. I'm going to leave that one alone and not get a self-involved stab wound.
Fair enough. I mean, that's, yeah. So we're going to play a little game of beer check today. Nick is going to choose my beverage. Will I choose option A, this cup of coffee? Option B, this Trader Joe's sparkling water? Option C, this Trader Joe's liquids dish soap? Option E, this Tostito salsa? Or
Corporate
option
sellout whore.
option F, that would be just lame, Wayne. We don't sell out to corporate entities. Or should I drink this Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale?
Let's go with the Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale.
Damn it, I wanted to drink the dish liquid. All right, I do actually have a glass. Not my poured glass. That'll be next week. But I have a glass to pour it. Pop. Yum, yum, yum. We're still celebrating the birth week of Keefy, so cheers.
Cheers, my friend. Alrighty, so let's get on into Nick's vinyl check. Step one. This is something that I bought a long time ago on CD, and being the young, poor gentleman that I was, I did not keep it because I only wanted one song from it at the time, which, of course, was Protoculture. So who is it, Keefy?
I'm just going to let you go. Go ahead.
We talked about this song with previous podcast guest Mega Ran. Del, the funky Homosapien, both sides of the brain. Now, what's interesting about this record is I lost it. I don't remember where it was, but there was this was purchased new. I think I'm only the second owner. It is a two-discer. It's already in both the mylar and the outer condom. You know, practice safe vinyl, people. But this one had it was on it came in the shrink wrap and I pulled it off. There was a shrink wrap price tag from like Sam Goody or Camelot Music, one of those places from the 90s, because this came out in, I want to say 1999, perhaps 2000. But there was a price tag of only $9.99. Now, think about that for a second. Let's go in the Wayback Machine. How much was a CD at Sam Goody or any mall record store in 1999, 2000?
The CD was like $20.
Exactly, like 20. Well, for us it was 17. In Keefy's fancy New York East Coast Eaton Lobster neighborhood at Tower Records, it was $20. This vinyl, two-disc vinyl, was $10. That's crazy. Record number two is an oft-referenced band on this show. That would be Pink Floyd, the Japanese pressing of Amagama. This is a second Japanese pressing, not the first. But what is amazing, and I'm going to get this really close to the camera so you can see it, right there. Keefy, can you see what Keefy, can you see me? Keefy can't see me.
If
He's
you
not even
can
paying
see
attention.
me, I'm having kind of an allergy attack, but go ahead.
Oh, if you look closely, it is not a record that is blank on the wall. It is the Gigi cover. Not to be confused with my cat Gigi, which is spelled Jiji. This is
Is
a
that
French
short
thing.
for something? Is that
What?
G-I-G-I-J-I or G-I-G? Is
No,
that short
my
for
cat is
something?
named after the cat from Kiki's Delivery Service by the most amazing anime movie company of all time, which is Studio Ghibli. There was a cat named Gigi who was a black cat who was Kiki's cat. So that's our cat.
Fair
What's
enough.
amazing about this particular record that I own, and I just ripped the outer cover a little bit, this is an original Obi strip. This is not an Obi strip reproduction, which is pretty common. It is 2 discs, of course, as everybody knows. It sounds wonderful, and that is why Keefy, you saw it on Instagram recently. Let me show one more thing, and I'll shut up, and then we can get moving. Do you see that price tag right there? The price tag says 4,000 yen.
Like
Now,
$5.
how much?
Originally like $5 in American.
40.
Oh, okay.
So this is a 1971 release in Japan. This sold for $40 in 1971.
Steep.
Exactly. Think about that for a second if you complain about how much a record costs today in America if you got to drop $30 on that bitch. Alrighty. Alright, finger fudgers, I'm handing it over to Keefy.
Right, it is time for my single vinyl check today. We are off of Black Friday finally. Seemed like 10 weeks of Black Friday
Wait a minute.
vinyl checks.
Did you check every single every one? Are they all just done?
They're all just done. Yeah.
I mean, you have them all, right? I assume.
Yeah, I have them all. And now I'm on to post Black Friday 2023, which means soon to be checking 2024 releases. But this is a cool one. I might have at least mentioned this before. I certainly think I checked this on the weekly ritual of ghostcultman.com on YouTube. This is Today is the Day, No Good to Anyone. This is a repress from 2023. So this was a new record last year. We associated act to Mastodon. Today is the Day, where 2 members came from, as we discussed in last week's episode. If not, go back and listen to that after this. And Steve Austin, the founder and mainstay leader of Today is the Day.
The $1 Million Man or the wrestler?
Neither. The third and more important, arguably, than both of those guys. Steve Austin, the music producer, produced Lamb of God, Mastodon, other bands himself. So Today's the Day. Originally, he put out records kind of DIY. Then he signed to Amphetamine Reptile. We've talked about that label before. I think it would be fun to do some chasers on just labels we like in the metal world. Amphetamine Reptile would be one, not strictly metal, avant-garde, different things. But then more recently, maybe before the pandemic, Steve did a deal with BMG to reissue some of his other stuff on vinyl, which he did. And then he ended that deal and chose to reissue his own label again, which he had run in the 90s, called Supernova Records USA, not to be confused with another Supernova Records somewhere else. So this officially has the BMG imprint on it, but all of Steve's records are coming back out via Supernova. This is great. My homie is the current drummer of Today is the Day, Colin Frecknell. And let's see, this bad boy came with a beautiful inner sleeve with lyrics and credits. This very interesting snake logo. And then the beautiful splatter repress here. I'm not sure what you call this, like gold with blood, maybe? Snake venom? I don't know what you call this. But beautiful release. And in the mylar already, I had played this end of last year a little bit. And just happened to be going through a pile of records, doing some triage on my collection. And just a reminder that you can buy these awesome Invest in Vinyl inner sleeves, because I am nothing but a corporate whore. Get these Invest in Vinyls at the description in our link tree and in our videos and in our YouTubes and our podcasts, everywhere you listen to podcasts. And you can buy these. And if you buy it from our link, it helps us. It gives money to the podcast so we can buy beer and vinyl and sleeves.
And
Probably not in the amount that we needed to actually make it profitable, but at least, if you want to help us, that would be it.
and frankly, I should be buying this through those same link too, but I don't. I'm terrible.
It'd be useful if you did, because yeah, that money would go back to us.
It's not like I ever buy those things. I mean,
If you need to buy anything vinyl related from Amazon, hit me up first because I can give you a special link.
that involves work. I will attempt to have effort.
It's a
Real
second.
quick, you don't answer me immediately. You're not me. If you were me and you answered immediately, it'd be different.
Oh, so basically, you're codependent and I'm not. Is that what we're saying about our relationship?
No, I'm trying to come up with valid excuses that fit my idiom. Real quick, I'm going to go back to my beer check because I forgot to mention this. Look at my beer glass. Look what it is. It's the hockey puck beer glass. You know why?
Because it's hockey season, bud.
It is hockey season. The Blues are playing right now. They're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I'm not watching because I'm talking to you people. So you're welcome.
Man. I'll be doing my other podcast tomorrow during the Giants football game, in which I expect them to get roundly killed. So I'll be doing something much better than watching the game.
I'm sorry, the Glacially Musical Podcast does not recognize American football of that brand.
I don't recognize any other football but American football. The fighting continues. Anywho.
The Fighting Colonials.
The Fighting something.
How come nobody has taken that name, the Fighting Colonials? I mean, seriously, is that not a good name?
There's definitely a Colonials sports school.
I'm saying it should be the Fighting Colonials or the Revolting Colonials. That'd be another good one too.
Revolting, but double meanings. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. That works. That works on two levels. If the band is ugly, so if I was in it.
Okay, you are not ugly, sir. You're handsome.
I appreciate it.
Hung like an elephant schlong.
That's what I feel like when I trip myself. Next is the news check. I have one little teeny tiny piece of news.
Oh, I thought you had no news.
It's basically no news. The Tony Iommi Glenn Hughes records have been pushed back a month. One of the things that Keefy has sent me quite a few links to this week is that vinyl delays are a thing again. So try to not respond to the vinyl delays that you're going to get like I did to the person that cut me off on Hampton Avenue today. Which was what the fudge. I'm driving here. And that's all I got for news.
Yeah, brutal. I have quite a few news items. Speaking of Black Sabbath, I'll just segue in. At a happenstance public charity event, Bill Ward and Iommi just randomly showed up together in the same place, unbeknownst to each other, and took a photo.
That is my favorite story this week so far. Continue.
Yeah, good news. A lot of the other news is not good news, but this is a good, like, it's a feel good thing. Because again, like, I think, feelings were hurt over the recording of 13 and the farewell tour of Black Sabbath, and getting them. I don't want to see Ozzy perform again and be poor in health and maybe make it worse. But they do owe Bill. They definitely performed a farewell show without Bill. It's not right. I'm not saying that Bill is in health to play like 80 shows on a tour, but because he's not touring anyway by himself. He hasn't done a tour in a long time. Maybe, a couple of art shows and a couple of readings and nothing else. He's, still active. He says he plays drums every day and he's in good health. Could he do one show feasibly as Black Sabbath?
Do you believe he plays drums every day? I'm gonna.
Says he does. I mean, I believe he plays drums every day in the way that Ace says he's sober.
So no. Vinnie Vincent claims he plays guitar 20 hours a day and records it all. And
20 hours a day.
20 hours a day.
At 70 years old or 65 years old. Like, no way, bro. Just no way.
Know.
Marty Friedman says that he still plays like 8 hours a day guitar. Like,
I believe that Marty Friedman's still good.
He is really great.
He also, not only is he still good, he also still makes records and goes on tours.
That was one of the best experiences of my year, no matter what happens the rest of this year. True, a little confessional. I had a doctor's appointment a few hours ago, and I literally had a nervous breakdown at the doctor's office about my well-being. I'm okay, but it was not good. But I was focus on whatever good things you had this year. I was like, let me see. I had a podcast with Nick. I have Ghost Cult. I interviewed Marty Friedman. So it's a shared list. I have a few other ones too, but I interviewed Marty Friedman. And
I think I interviewed Marty Friedman once via email. I know I interviewed Alex Skolnick, but not about Testament, about his world music stuff.
jazz, Alice Skolnick Trio, and other
No, no,
things?
no, no. It was Alex Skolnick's like world music. It wasn't the Alex Skolnick trio. It was a whole. It was another thing that he did that was crazy.
Right on. Now that the feel good portion. Oh, we'll do one more feel good thing. Slayer is back. Slayer played their first show. I didn't have the set list ready, but I'm going to get it ready right now. We're going to speed run the
You
Slayer
talk
set
about
list.
Slayer. I'll pull it up the set list.
I got it, unless you want it.
I'll
So
pull it up.
Slayer
You
came
talk.
back. Slayer came back at Riot Fest, and they are playing their second show back in 5 years this weekend at Louder Than Life, followed by 3 weeks from now or 2 weeks from now at Aftershock Sacramento in my backyard. Still undecided if I can make it. There's some sticky issues if I can make it there or not. But Slayer came back. My team was on site. I immediately went to the podcast of friend to the show and hopefully future interviewee DX Ferris of the Talkin' Slayer podcast, and the author of 2 books on Slayer and 1 book on the movie Goodfellas, all things that Nick and I would love. And DX immediately threw up a quick review. He was right up at the front for a pretty old guy like us, maybe a little younger, right at the front, thought it was amazing. Other people who are not there were on the internet talking about how they were bad based on cell phone video they saw. What I saw, I liked, and I'll discuss what I liked really quick. I did a long review of it on YouTube. I'll link it in the description. Nick, do you want to speed run the set list really quick?
I will speed run the set list and then give you my quick 30-second opinion. South of Heaven, Reborn, Blood Red, Postmortem, Repentless, Payback, Temptation, Jihad, Seasons in the Abyss, Born of Fire, War Ensemble, Hate Worldwide, Disciple. Holy yeah! So I was wrong. Dead Skin Mask, Hell Awaits, 213, Mandatory Suicide, Raining Blood, Black Magic, Angel of Death. Oh my God, Disciple. They dusted off. I swear to God, they dusted off a track off of Diabolus and Musica, Nick's favorite Slayer record. He is not a contrarian. He's not doing it on purpose. I just love the fact that Slayer got different. Also,
Technically, I hate to correct you, but I'm
oh
going
no,
to. This
oh no.
Disciple is off of God Hates Us All, not. You're thinking of Stain of Mind, which they did not play. But I believe they've rehearsed it, so we might get it this weekend.
Fuck this show. I'm done.
Oh,
Kidding, I'm
well,
kidding, I'm
listen.
kidding. I
So
want to say
we
it's really cool seeing 213 pulled out though.
213, which is Paul's first record, which Omar Cuttis talked about on his
Yeah,
podcast with
I'm a
us.
big fan of that. I really like the Paul records, the first
Re,
couple.
yeah, Reborn is almost hasn't been played in 10 years, and even before that wasn't played a lot.
Great
Jihad
song off
is.
Seasons.
I don't love Christ Illusion, but
I
Jihad is a
don't at all.
good song. It's a good song, and it's rarely played.
It's a good idea, and it was very topical at the time.
And also like Blood Red and Mandatory Suicide. Normally, Mandatory Suicide was typically at the earlier in the Slayer set list, and Blood Red was usually toward the end, so they flopped them. So like we had predicted in the Slayer roundtable that Nick was a part of for Ghost Cult Mag, which I will also link in the description. Like we said, oh, they're not going to change the set list at all, which they
No,
clearly did. They
oh yeah,
clearly
big
practiced
change,
a
big
lot.
change.
So I
No,
mean, like,
this
yeah,
is a better set list than any show I saw of Slayer, and I saw them 4 times.
yeah. Well,
Again, living in the Midwest 4 times for one band is kind of a lot. So,
yeah, I've seen
but
Slayer
yeah,
30
great
something
set list.
times.
Great set
I've
list.
seen Slayer 30 something times, and this would be a top tier set list for that 30 something times. I will just add one more thing about it, which I wanted to get your opinion of. One of the things I observed watching and rewatching multiple fan filmed videos of the majority of these 20 songs, first show in 5 years, 20 right out the gate, not bad. Tom sounded great, did the scream at Angel of Death and everything, which he wasn't always doing on the farewell tour. They played a lot of these songs to the album tempo. This is a thing that I think we're seeing now. Wasp has been doing it. Granted, Wasp is partly on tape. Priest has been doing it for a few years since they got Richie. Slipknot is doing it on their current tour and festival tour runs where they're playing the debut album of Slipknot all at album tempo, not the typical tempo they were doing for the last 10 years. And so a lot of these songs Slayer did, including Disciple, at the actual record speed. So I think that's on purpose. I think it's pretty cool. What do you think about that?
Honestly, no strong opinions. I would imagine if I had to guess, and this is just me being cynical as I'm getting older, I would imagine there's a click track going on in their ears. Just because it's been so long since they've played these songs. There's probably a click track, and they're going to put it to the click track of the album. But I'm fine with that. I don't. Slayer's not the kind of band that live you're going to get something different. They're going to give you as close as they can to the record, and that's fine. No problem with that at all.
All right. Fair enough. Now two very
Sorry, I didn't
interesting-
have a great answer.
No, that's fine. I'm very high on that choice. So really quick, two other bits of controversy, and then we'll pass through the news onto the short check and then the meat of the matter, the heart of the matter, as Don Henley would sensitively say with his 80s ponytail. Two bits of drama this week, things I did not have on my bingo card in 2024. Dave Mustaine calls out Peter Frampton for talking shit about Megadeth. Have you heard this
what
story?
the fudge on that one? I did hear about that one. I decided to forget it, apparently.
Yeah, thank you to all the people who clicked on Ghost Cult Meg this week, as I was literally not even first with that story, and it's got thousands of clicks. I can only imagine the people who broke that news. So Megadeth was attempting to play a venue, an amphitheater in Richmond, Virginia, and they checked out the venue, did not find the rigging and the staging safe to hang their own gear they brought with them for their show, and canceled the show day of. Very rare for Megadeth to cancel a show not due to illness. They rarely cancel. I was actually infamously, about 14 years ago, I was in Baltimore, of all places, for was Omar Cuttis's birthday on St. Patrick's Day, my big brown leprechaun best friend, and a fan dumped a full beer off the balcony and onto the soundboard during the beginning of the show, which ruined the show. Testament cut their set. It was Exodus, Testament, Megadeth.
Hang on, is that not the greatest karma? Keefy mentions the soundboard getting beered upon, and then we get a car alarm in his background. Wonderful.
Yes, of course. Good sound effects. Too bad I don't have the board yet to do all kinds of fun things. If I did, I'd be very abusive with hand claps, applause, and Victor Vorga and things like that. So basically, so somebody dumped a beer on the soundboard. Testament was ruined. They cut off short. Megadeth comes out, tries to play. It sucked. Dave went on a rant about the venue and maybe even the city of Baltimore. Then they came back. They basically had a night off in between their shows. On their night off, Megadeth let everybody come back in. They played they had everybody come back in and they played for 1 hour. But so Megadeth cancels their show, and a couple of days later, Peter Frampton is due to play there, and he also shows up and is like, "Oh, we can't do a show here. This is not good." Then he goes, "Hey, Peter, why did you cancel?" People were asking Peter, "Why did you cancel a show?" And he's like, "Well, apparently Megadeth was here before us, and their sound check damaged the stage." This incensed Mustaine.
I'm just gonna say real quick. Megadeth in an amphitheater does not play loud enough to do structural damage to a stage.
Well, so here's the thing. So this enraged Mustaine so badly because this was picked up by major media. Peter Frampton calls out Megadeth for their destructive sound abuse at this venue that ruined the venue. Venue didn't make a comment. They know that they must know that their stuff is having issues or subpar or needs a repair or something. So then Megadeth puts out a press release through their publicist, who is one of the most famous and important publicists in the world, Schneider Rondon PR in LA. They have Ozzy and major bands, the Cult they used to have, huge bands. They put a press release out calling out Peter, where Dave Mustaine calls out Peter Frampton. Let me set the record straight, because Peter Frampton is out here talking shit about my band. Megadeth went to do their sound check before they hung their gear, and their own crew was like, "Hey, this venue can't support it's damage. And if we try to hang our gear and our lights and our sound, it's going to destroy them. We're going to have people hurt. We can't play here." And that's why Dave canceled the show. But he's like, "We didn't even get to sound check. We did not get to do our sound check. We just canceled straight out when we saw the venue and our people, our own crew advised us not to do the show. So Peter Frampton, don't talk out of your ass about my band." Clap, clap, clap.
If I could, I got to smoke fake pot in a movie scene with Peter Frampton, which is almost as cool as smoking real pot with a dude that looks like Peter Frampton. I've done that way more times. And Peter Frampton is a musical legend. The problem is I am not interested in anything he has done. So when you are with the musical legend and you do not like his music, you have to divert from that fact. So it's like, hey, Peter Frampton, do you like toast too? As do I. It is warm and crispy. Now go away, Peter Frampton. I ain't got shit more to say to you. That's how he should have ended that press release. Go away, Peter Frampton. I ain't got shit more to say to you.
Congratulations, Reg. $50, a case of Heineken, and the Band-Aids, including the world-famous Penny Lane. Take good care of them, Reg.
Was it good beer?
What kind of beer was it? Oh, why doesn't he love me? Why doesn't anyone love me? Anyway, only records love me, and I love them. So that's number one.
When you're lonely, you go to the record store and you visit your friends.
Then the second drama of the week, and this is an ongoing case, but Jesus jumping Christ. Journey continues to unravel.
This is still going on?
Wait, it gets worse. So you know that I'm not a fan of Journey. Is one of my most hated bands. I'm not knocking their talent. If you love them, fine. Many people like them, and I don't like what other people like.
Hey, if you love Mastodon, that's fine.
Mastodon's great. Anyway, we're about to do a record today that's considered a perfect record by many, except Nicholas. Anywho, so Journey plays at Rock in Rio on Saturday, and they have a particularly disastrous performance, and I'll tell you why. But first, as you know, just to refresh people who haven't been here every week and didn't hear us talk about this 2 weeks ago, two members of Journey, the two mainstay members of Journey, Jonathan Cain and Neil Sean, are suing each other over control of the band. Again, on perpetually, in perpetuity. Neil would like it if John would quit, but he won't quit. John is the co-author of many of your favorite songs. He has...
if you have favorite songs by Journey.
You probably do. Everyone does, except me. I am none. So one of the things that Neil is like, so they are both kind of vying for control of the finances of the band, and one of the complaints Neil has is that Jonathan has been spending extravagantly. They were on like a 200.
You got it backwards.
Jonathan has been spending extravagantly. Jonathan has claimed Neil is it's Jonathan. Oh. I'll tell you what. Okay, whatever Neil is spending on is not $10,000 a night on tour for a hotel room, while Neil and his wife sleep in the back of their tour bus. Every member of Journey has like their own tour bus, except like the three other guys. Neil has his own bus with his wife. Jonathan should have his own bus with his wife. But Jonathan insists on literally what's the fanciest hotel you've ever been in? I went to a conference paid for by a company of mine once, and my room was like $3,000 a night. And I was like, this is opulent and too fancy for me. And somebody got sick, and I ended up alone in this room in a robe, like chilling in Florida with the AC turned down to 50.
The fanciest room I've ever been in is the Bellagio King Deluxe.
So, but not $10,000 a night for sure.
Oh God, no.
Like a suite is $10,000 a night.
Yeah, Vegas, this was like I think $400 a night, but $400 in Vegas is like $2,000 anywhere else.
Yeah, to quote Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Mr. Bretter, we were able to book you for the Kapua suite. It's $6,000 a night. Okay, Jonathan Cain and his famous church leader wife do not need a hotel room for $10,000 a night on tour.
I thought it was Neil that was doing the crazy hotels.
They're both it's Jonathan, but Jonathan has other claims against Neil. Jonathan wants to play rhythm electric guitar during one of their songs that he wrote. He doesn't want to play keyboards, and he wanted to bring on a backup keyboard player for one song. Bring someone on a tour across the world for one song. So Journey is the co-headliner of Rock in Rio, and Avenged Sevenfold goes on before Journey for some reason, and or after the Journey, I forget which was, but the production for Avenged Sevenfold is huge. They have video screens because their album's kind of like a multimedia experience too. So Journey goes out, and Arnel Pineda, who has been the vocalist of Journey for, 20 years.
Back when I was friends with ex-wife, lawyer wife and I, an ex-wife and our friend Joe, all went to go see Arnel Pineda back in 2009 or 10. I mean, he has been there for a long-ass time, like longer than anybody else. This
timeline in this story just got a whole lot more interesting than whatever I'm talking about. But okay.
Real quick, I guess I've never mentioned this. I was friends with my ex-wife for about 6 or 7 years, like close friends after our divorce. Once I realized that, yes, us being divorced is the best thing we could do, I completely got over it, and we became friends. So nothing
Interesting.
interesting. I mean, Lawyer Wife
Um,
knew when we got together. Nothing interesting.
okay, fair enough. All right, so Arnell has a particularly bad show. He struggles vocally. He couldn't hear himself. It sounds like I sing. I know what it sounds like when you can't hear yourself. Some
You
people
saying
like
you've never mentioned that?
I'm gonna sing on this show today. Bon Jovi has hearing loss, and then same with Huey Lewis is now deaf. Technically, is having here. Brian Johnson. If you can't hear yourself, especially in a arena or an open air stadium or a giant festival setting, if you can't hear yourself in the ears, you're gonna have a hard time hitting pitches and following the band even. Which I imagine they play to a click also. So
It sounds completely ridiculous, but it is absolutely 1,000% true. If you cannot
so
hear your whatever music you're playing or singing directly in your line, it messes you up.
So for 20 years, Arnell is nearly flawless every night. He sounds like Steve Perry. Journey fans love him. They accept him. He's been the guy. He has a particularly bad show, and the fans go nuts. Videos pop on online. They're hounding him on social media. They're wanting a statement from the band. What's wrong with Arnell? What's wrong with Arnell? He had a bad night. He was pitchy. He was off. Bad. Arnell goes onto his social media and he's like, first of all, I want to just thank you for 20 years. I've been humbly grateful to be in this band. And, I love the fans and this has been my whole life. However, people seem to be, going hard on me about this bad show. So and I also hear every negative comment also at times. So here's a deal. Stay or go. Comment on my social media. And if I get enough people telling me to go, I will retire immediately from Journey. What? What
What
is
the
this? Sounds
fudge?
like unhinged and drunken social media use. This is why you need a social media manager to be in charge for every single member of a huge band and not let anybody do their own thing. Hire me. So Arnell challenges the fans to ask him to leave. Neil comes out and calls out Avenged Sevenfold. I guess maybe Avenged Sevenfold played first and said like, oh, their pre-production wrecked our production and interfered with us being able to play a competent show. Avenged Sevenfold's like bullshit. People who work crew on the show. Oh, they were claiming that Avenged Sevenfold had Journey turned down low. So they were overcompensating by playing too loud on stage that they were like cut by the set. Like it's just not true. Limiting. Like that opening bands don't get the same full production as major bands. That's typical. Even big
They
bands.
don't even get the same volume as the headline.
Well, but also it's not just the volume out in this crowd. It's the volume on stage. It affects everything. And so maybe members of the band Neil's guitar tech couldn't hear and turned Neil's amp up, and then Arnell couldn't hear himself, and that's why he was all over the place vocally. Which, not the first time Neil has called out another band they played with as a reason why they didn't play well. Not him personally, because I think, I know the Journey is legendary professional musicians and they go out every night and they almost always do a great job. But I don't want Arnell Pineda to quit Journey. Steve Perry is not coming back. The fans don't want him to leave. Somebody talk him off the ledge and don't convince him to quit the band. That's all I'm going to say. And then third and final bit of news of drama.
Hang on, I got to say one thing before you move on to the next one. This is really weird that we have a Dave Mustaine, Peter Frampton story followed by a Journey Killswitch Engage story.
Avenged Sevenfold.
Whichever.
It's not. They're totally different bands. Completely
not in my world. I'm sorry, not in my world. Move on.
We're gonna do possibly a.
Why do you hate me?
I don't hate you. I love you. You get to pick the next
Why
series.
are you dunking me? Why are you dunking me?
I'm not dunking. You're dunking Duncan. I'm not dunking you. Why do you treat Duncan so badly? He's such a prince of a human being, and
I know he's lovely. Move on.
So, last licks. We last week brought you the news about Metallica's M72 2025 World Tour, and not unsurprisingly, old boomer Metallica fans are angry that one of the opening bands is Limp Bizkit. So how could this be? By the way, Metallica and Limp Bizkit they've never toured together, but they played festivals together all over the world often. So it's not random. They know each other. Lars is probably friends with Fred. He was friends with Kid Rock, for crying out loud. Fred's way cooler and less of a douche, I think. And so boomer fans and a lot of boomer vloggers and influencers, neither of which I think I am, have taken to the social medias to be like, it's strange that they didn't take out Testament. Limp Bizkit took out a summer tour of garbage opening bands. Literally,
Corey Feldman.
who is now a meme forever with his like attempting to shred. Look at him playing Jimi Hendrix. Bro, calm down.
No,
Lil
just
Wayne,
watch the thing he did on that one like
yeah.
daytime talk show, and
Lil
you
Wayne
will.
also played guitar solos. He's not good at all. So,
If you
um,
watch Corey Feldman on that show, you will never be able to take his music seriously.
if Metallica just took out the same, Pantera and Wolfie again, they did Pantera and Ice Nine Kills again, fair. But like if you have to play to new people, or you don't keep selling the tickets. I understand that Metallica will sell out anyway, but like you could make a case that fans of Limp Bizkit know Metallica and are probably like Metallica, and not all Metallica fans are going to like Limp Bizkit for sure. But at the same time, it actually makes a lot of sense for them to tour together. Limp Bizkit is huge. They did a huge tour with garbage opening bands, which is the confidence that Limp Bizkit has. If you're Live Nation, Metallica should have took out maybe one of their kids' bands, or a younger, why not take out Havoc? If you don't want to take Machine Head and Lamb of God out again, or Mastodon again, who've all toured with Metallica, take out a younger band. But the problem is Live Nation doesn't want them to take out an unknown band. So even Ice Nine Kills, as much as we didn't enjoy them, have a huge following and a huge the same management as Slipknot and Black Label Society. So like you can understand how they got that tour. So like just calm down, all you boomers, about Limp Bizkit. You'll survive an hour of Limp Bizkit. You'll survive. And if
Simply
nothing else,
put, if you are complaining about the opening act at a show for the headliner, you're doing it wrong. How many times I did not enjoy seeing Alice in Chains open up for Kiss? How many times have you heard me complain about it? It was a bad gig. That's just all it was. It was a bad gig. But you know what? It has not ruled my life.
you saw one of the very last gigs ever by Alice in
I
Chains,
know
and
that is
they were
so messed
suffering.
up.
I
That is
never got
so
to see
messed up.
Lane. You know that, right? Like, I never saw Lane. As
No, I
much as
didn't
I
know
love,
that.
I never saw him. So I had tickets to Woodstock '94 because Alice in Chains was supposed to close the Friday night, and they dropped out at the last second because Lane went to rehab or something. And
Mm.
Jerry hung out all weekend, and the guys in Chains were there and hung out all weekend. Jerry played the Primus, a couple of songs, but like I never saw them. I never saw them
Mm.
with Lane. I've seen him with William a bunch of times, and I love him, but I never saw him with Lane. Very sad.
I'd be happy to see him with William. I had tickets, but something happened. We couldn't go. Uh,
Next
he,
year,
he fills in for Lane very, very well in a
I
really good
think
way.
he's become his own guy, and their original music is great with him, and it sounds like Chains.
I love the
Um,
original music. I reviewed The Devil Put the Dinosaurs here, and I loved that record. Loved that record.
anniversary coming up soon.
Oh,
Anywho,
nice.
15.
Let's
Nick, what is
move.
your shirt? What's your
My
shirt check?
shirt check. Marushan Ramen instant lunch.
That's a cool
Uh,
shirt. Where'd you get that?
Lawyer wife got it for me at Goodwill.
Goodwill,
We
Hoodwill, Goodwill will do
thrift a
that.
lot. I mean, like crazy amounts
I
of thrift.
I love the thrift. Guess what shirt I'm wearing? My love for
My love for
you is
you
like
is
a
like
truck.
a truck berserker.
Berserker. I'm sure I've worn it recently again.
You,
I just rinse, repeat.
I meant to buy that shirt and I never did. Would you
View
like some
askew.
making fuck berserker? I know where to get it.
Did he
Did
say
he say
making
making
fuck?
fuck? All right, let's move on into the
Oh,
meat of
oh,
the.
oh shit, it's the human vacuum cleaner.
Oh
Fuck
no!
off, scumbag.
Did
That's
you know
the
that
line
she was?
before.
Yeah, she was the makeup artist. That's why her makeup looks so terrible.
She looks exactly so straight out, married with children now. She looks exactly, I won't name names because some people still know me, exactly like my high school crush. I have two high school crushes. One of them is a good friend, but married with a bunch of kids. And we went to the prom separately, had a dance, sent her a love letter,
Oh my god!
rejected, still friends. But
Did we?
like that
Are we
chick,
at peaked in high school now?
that chick, oh, I kind of did. That chick, look at me. I have a website about metal and rock. I peaked in high school, clearly. Actually, I peaked in junior high school, possibly. Anywho,
Wow.
no, I actually peaked at like 30 in my thrash metal band. And that is all the minutiae and all the departments led us
All right, let's move into
through Mastodon
2004.
20
2004
years ago.
is the election which created the greatest South Park. Trey Parker and Matt Stone created the giant douche or turd sandwich, which was the George W. Bush re-election or John Kerry. I voted for John Kerry, but I held my nose because I knew he was a giant douche. Moving forward, There were quite a few records. 36 Crazy Fist drops a Snowcap Romance. The Acacia Strain drops 3750. Aerosmith drops the one Aerosmith record I have never heard. Honkin' on Bobo. Because fuck that shit. I don't care about Aerosmith doing
What
blues
what
covers.
what list are you looking at that has? I sent you the list to use. What list are you
I'm
looking at,
using
buddy?
the list you sent me.
Really? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
All right, we got
Okay.
Alter Bridge. One Day Remains. Amon Amarth. Fate of Norms.
I'm making faces.
What?
I don't actually believe you're reading off my list I sent you. I'm making faces.
All right, make faces. I'm using a list. Annihilator, All for You, Atreyu, The Curse, Behemoth, Demigod, Black Label Society, Hangover Music, Volume 6. Bon Jovi drops a box set. 100 million Bon Jovi fans can't be wrong. Breaking Benjamin is now a thing. Cannibal Corpse, Wretched Spawn, Chevelle, This Type of Thinking, Cradle of Filth, Nymphetamine, Damage Plans, one record, Newfound Power. Danzig, Circle of Snakes, Decapitated, The Negation, Deicide, Scars of the Crucifix. Unfortunately, we are in the Deicide I Don't Care era. Dillinger Escape Plan, Miss Machine, Dio, Master of the Moon. I love Dio, but his oughts are not ought to be listened to. Dream Evil, Book of Heavy Metal, Dream Theater, live at Budokan, Drowning Pool, Desensitized, Electric Wizard, We Live. Exodus, Tempo of the Damned, Fear Factory, Archetype, Grip Incorporated released another record called Incorporated, which is a terrible title. Previous podcast subject, Gwar, drops War Party. No one noticed, and the band promptly forgot about the record. Helmet drops a couple records. Size Matters and a Greatest Hits. Iced Earth. Oh, that's the motherfucker from last week that I couldn't remember who the hell it was. Fuck those guys. In Flames, soundtrack to your escape. Kill Switch Engage, aforementioned. The End of the Heartache. Kitty Until the End. Lamb of God, Ashes of Wake. Marilyn Manson, Lest We Forget compilation. Marduk, Plague Angel. Some band called Mastodon releases some record called Leviathan. Megadeth, The System Has Failed. That's a good record. Meshuggah, Metal Church, Weight of the World, Ministry, Houses of the Mole. Like mole sauce? Nice. Nightwish, Once. Orange Goblin, Thieving from the House of God. You want to talk about some kick-ass stoner metal. OTAP, House of Secrets, Pig Destroyer, Painter of Dead Girls. God, that's a good title. Primal Fear, Devil's Ground, Propane, Fistful of Hate, previous podcast subject on the Department of Metal Antiquities. Probot drops their one record, which is amazing. Saxon, Lionheart, Scorpions, Unbreakable, Shadows Fall, War Within, Soulfly, Prophecy, Static X, Beneath, Between, Beyond, Suffocation, which I think Keefy has heard of. Have you heard of Suffocation, buddy?
My second favorite death metal band.
Oh, you've heard of Suffo. Where are they from? Where are they from?
Did you happen to notice where they're from? They're from Long Island, New York.
Oh, they're from Nueva York?
Strong Island.
Oh, Strong Island.
Or Long Island.
Oh, they're from
Long
Great Neck? Are
Island.
they from Great Neck, Long Island? Give me an iced tea while I'm up there, boy. That was not good. Moving on. Unearth, Oncoming Storm, also on another band that we've discussed that is on the Aqua Teen Hunger Force soundtrack, movie film for theaters, which we'll discuss a bit more today, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I need to check. Vader, The Beast, Van Halen, Best of Both Worlds. Great compilation featuring 3 really terrible new songs featuring Sammy Hagar. Velvet Revolver, Contraband, the most disappointing supergroup of all time.
Hard disagree.
Really? You're wrong. You know what? I should do that with Duncan, and I'll bring you on because you're wrong. And that is about the size of the world. I mean,
It's a pretty great year. You left out a couple, but I think you read the wrong list. Slipknot, Volume 3, Dillinger Escape Plan, Miss Machine, Winter Sun, self-titled, their debut.
And just for the
Um,
record, we're going to talk about Aqua Teen, Aqua Teen Hunger Force: movie film for theaters next week.
okay, I don't think so, but
No, we
Panopticon, I
will,
think.
because it is the first time I heard of Mastodon.
Do you want to? Okay, fine.
They were
I
on it.
wasn't. I wanted to do the chaser idea I had. You didn't answer me.
Oh, okay. 2 weeks from now, then. I mean, obviously,
I don't. I don't want to do back-to-back chasers. That doesn't make sense. We'll
no,
argue about this later.
no. We are. I'm just going to mention Aqua Teen Hunger. Okay, fine. I'll do it this week. I'll do it live. My dance with the devil, my first dance with Mastodon, was the Aqua Teen soundtrack. Have you seen the Aqua Teen movie?
Like once, and I was mad high.
Okay, so
Count?
you're not aware that Mastodon
Yes.
is on the soundtrack.
Yes. Cut you with a linoleum knife.
Oh my god, I love that song now. Once I got over the fact they were like ripping off King Diamond, completely
You're
ripping off
trying
King
to.
Diamond.
You're
I know,
trying to.
and the problem I have found so far in this series is they don't actually do that.
Later. You're not there yet.
Oh
It's coming.
God. Okay, I'm done.
I told you, first two records you were not going to enjoy, even though they're classics. Third record is approaching great. It's got like 75% great and 25% squiff. And then the
I've heard all these records.
I don't think so. I don't think quite. I'm sure if you heard the last record we're going to do in the series, you would not shut up about it.
I am taking off my glasses. I'm taking off my glasses. That's where I'm at now. I'm taking them off.
cleaning. Hey, I'm sorry, Mama. I'm cleaning out my closet. We also forgot "You Fail Me" by Converge, "Revolver" by The Haunted, and a bunch of "Art of Dying," Death Angel. This was such a good year for metal. It's embarrassing. 3 inches of blood.
Not a lot. It's not a lot that I love personally. But just taste, just where my head was at the time. But one cannot argue.
The Necrophagous last record, right? Epitaph, I think, is that year also.
One cannot argue the significance of this year. This year it's basically the metal goddess birthing 1,000 billion things.
I'm pretty sure if you go back to the Decibel Album of the Year issue for that year, there's like they always do 40, right? They do 40. And then I'm sure there's another 40 you could have had in that 40 that all would have been acceptable as the best record. System Has Failed is very interesting by Megadeth because it was supposed to be a Dave Mustaine solo album, and the record label at the umpteenth hour was like, you have to call it Megadeth. He wasn't trying to call it Megadeth. That sounds like Megadeth.
I like that record.
I saw that tour.
I like that record.
I saw that tour. It was interesting. All right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about the year 2024 really quickly? Because I want to jet through this.
I will say the Cardinals were kind enough to allow Boston to break their curse.
Please don't talk about that.
Why?
Please. Because I'm a Yankees fan and they beat the Yankees to break the curse.
Okay. No, they did not. They beat the Cardinals to break the curse.
No, they were not going. No, it was supposed to be Yankees Cardinals. Yankees would have won again.
No, they would not.
Lost in the World Series in 2003 to the Marlins. We should have won.
The Yankees have never beaten the Cardinals in the World Series. They would have continued.
What? No, it wouldn't. Cardinals are not even. They laid down like dogs in that series to the Red Sox.
They did.
Get out of here.
But they would not have against the Yankees. I said they were.
Actually,
kind.
I'm going to tell you the bitchest team I can ever remember laying down like bitches, straight up bitches. Sorry, I never disrespected your teams. I will disrespect the 2004 St. Louis Cardinals for being a pack of bitches.
Quick question.
Fight me.
Quick question. Just one question. Who laid down like a bitch and a pack of bitches, like 18 bitches on a bitch boat when they were up 3-0?
Not the Yankees. They tried to win those games and they choked.
Oh, did they?
That's different. Choking is not laying down. Choking is I tried to win and I blew it. It is not the same thing. Fans, here's a question for you. When you make the podcast in Anchor, you can do a poll. You should be using those anyway. I have a poll for you also, but you can use the polls in Anchor and Spotify, and you can ask I'm going to put a poll on Twitter, the X, whatever, the minute this podcast is over. Laying down, Nick and I have a disagreement, so internet fix it for us. Laying down is not the same as choking in sports.
Okay, quick question. Quick question. Just one question. When did the Yankees win the World Series last?
2009. Shut up.
2009. When's the last time?
At least 10 years, right? 10 years for the Cardinals?
When's the last? It's 2011. When's the last time?
More than 10 years.
Hey, my child's first year. When's the last time the Gnats won the championship?
Whatever. We beat the Patriots twice, including when they were undefeated. Be quiet.
Okay, when's the last time the Rangers
St.
won
Louis
the
doesn't have a
Cup?
team anymore, by the way.
Hey,
St.
we had
Louis
the
has had a
Battlehawks.
team.
We got the Battlehawks.
The Battlehawks do not count.
Hey,
Kurt
St.
Warner.
Louis has won every major championship.
They have. They have.
I mean, it's
Okay.
been 65 years since we won the basketball.
I'm gonna give you like a little Mexican Coke with the real sugar, cane sugar,
I got
and
that.
a little and I'll give you a little s'more on a plate and send you home to bed early with your little. We won a championship in every field. Get out of here. Cardinals are a legit world beater when they're great, and the rest of the time, no other great franchises. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway,
until such point that the DeWitt family realizes that the St. Louis fans are pissed off. For the first time ever, I have seen Busch Stadium on empty seat pics on Twitter.
Okay.
This year, because I mean they're drawing like 5,000 a game this year.
We are over the 1 hour mark.
All right,
I'm gonna be late to Sepultura.
Roll it. I'll shut up.
30 minutes. You don't have to shut up, but don't. Yeah, I wish you hadn't triggered. I already had a day where I was triggered in the doctor's office and had.
Come on, isn't it fun when I trigger you though? It is. You love it.
It's fun for the listeners. It's not fun for me. I'm having a lot of problems.
You love it.
Drink the beer. Everything's fine.
Okay, everybody. When I trigger Keefy, everybody drink.
Oh God. I don't acknowledge the 2004 baseball season anymore, and I don't watch the.
Oh, I don't either. I mean that I feel like I feel like we got screwed.
I like Jimmy Fallon, and I love Drew Barrymore, and I don't acknowledge that baseball season.
Fever pitch. Hear me out. Okay, don't freak out till I finish. Okay, fever pitch about a team that wears red, that wins their first championship in hundreds of years is the greatest movie of all time. I love that movie. I fucking love that movie. Who does it star?
Drew Barrymore.
Colin Firth. I'm talking about the English movie that the Jimmy Fallon movie was based on, about my favorite football team, Arsenal Football Club.
That don't count. It's soccer. It's not football.
It is football.
Anyway,
they use their feet.
In anticipation of discussing Mastodon Leviathan, I have put a bunch of lotion onto my hands, and you will not see my hands under the table.
You got the basket? Get the basket. Where's the basket?
Just nut onto my footrest like every other day. Anyway,
what the fudge?
Your wife.
Oh my God! Didn't it? No. I need another beer. Fuck this.
You get another beer. I'm going to start talking about Mastodon. There's not much else to say.
Master what?
Mastodon. Big Dong.
No, come on.
Did you know that Donna Bromwell was really Donald Bromwell? Big Don. For those who know the movie Juice. Fun thing we didn't talk about last week. A band that has only changed their logo like twice in their whole career, Mastodon. Their classic logo shows up on their debut. They had a kind of different logos for the EPs. And then there's basically it's unchanged for over 10 years. And then they kind of play with it a little bit and then they go back to it. They've gone back to the classic Mastodon logo, the last few albums. Released exactly 20 years ago, August 31st. So Remission, we talked about, kicked off a lot of the hallmarks of the band: thrash metal, sludge, stoner doom, progressive metal. And, they got a lot of accolades. Some people called it the record of the year. And, it went right back into the studio to do Leviathan. And, this album, I know Nick will not enjoy most of it, but I will say that it's well regarded as one of the greatest metal albums of this century.
I actually do enjoy most of it.
Okay, I figured he wouldn't, but it's clearly a step up from the first record. The first record is extremely harsh and dissonant and meant to be like you have to live with that record.
Extremely harsh and awful. Yes, it was.
Awful is not accurate, but it was the album of the year on many lists. So they go in and they already began touring the world. And so Bron Daler, the drummer and one of the linchpins of the band, is on vacation in Hawaii and then has to fly to England to begin a tour and some festivals. And on the flight from Hawaii to London, which seems mind-bogglingly long, like at least 20 hours with layovers and stuff, right?
Either way you went, if you went east or west, I think it's about the same distance.
Yeah, and this is in 2003. So he flies from Hawaii on vacation to London, and he reads all of Moby Dick on this day, in a day, which I can't. It's like 40,000 words. I can't even imagine. I'm a pretty fast reader and a voracious reader at that when I do read, and like I can't imagine polishing off. I've read Moby Dick a few times.
The longest book I've read in a day is about 1,200 pages. I did have to go back and read it again the next week slowly, so I could actually like learn. Yeah, I mean it was
that's actually what I do, and I also used to like mark up my books and write and make notes.
Savages.
I know.
Go put some gum in a lock.
Bunch of savages in this town. Who eats cock? Anyway, so Berserker.
At least you spelled cock right this time.
You did spell it right this time. So he reads the book and he arrives in London and he's like, guys, I just read Moby Dick on the flight over here. We should do a concept album based entirely on Moby Dick. And the guys in the band are like, yeah, that makes sense for us. Sure, we'll do it. And he's like, I don't need you to all read it. They all read
very
it.
Literate.
They all read it. It's very literate, band. This song is about King Henry VIII.
This song is about Dune and the Spice.
This song is about Icarus. He flew too close to the sun. And his
wings were made of wax and he fell down and went split.
I'm Bruce Dickinson. I'm very literate. I read a lot of books. I
read a lot of books and I watch classic television from the 50s.
That's true. You are the number 12. Anyway, I'm a free man. So they agree to do this concept album. Man, already on the flight over, he's writing down song titles and lyrics. He's already like, even if they don't say yes, we're doing something like this. They said yes. They all read the book. They start brainstorming in that initial pitch about song titles and lyrics and stuff. And he's like, dude, split your lungs with blood and thunder. Look at how, and he's like, we're like pirates and we get on a ship, except it's a van or a tour bus. And we're like stinky pirates who play metal. And it's like, they're taking, if you want, they were high. And he's like, if you want to be like super obsessed about, like, we're obsessed about making metal. They're obsessed about the whale, well, Ahab and all of this. So like, it all comes together. And they conceived this record.
Now,
and I had already said last record they had kind of a nautical theme sometimes, musically and lyrically. And I mentioned that last album, Remission, was loosely based on the element of fire. Leviathan, obviously, the sea and water and sea creatures. And, this singular obsession about Moby Dick from the Melville. So they write this book. And then, they continue to work with artist Paul Romano from Philadelphia, who did this artwork. There's also the beautiful vinyl edition that came out later, which we're going to talk about the special edition at the end of the track listing because it's important. And, again, this record is considered a certified banger. They just performed this album every show for the last 6 months, basically the full album and some greatest hits.
That is cool. I love it when bands do that. And that should be something that's done more often if you're not touring behind a new record. Everyone not named Metallica right now.
I kind of want to see Metallica play all the 72 seasons once.
I kind of don't. I love 72 seasons. I don't want to hear the whole thing.
All right. You might feel differently if you put it on today. But this is also the first album where they start featuring guests every album, which they have a habit of doing. And a very prominent guest in the metal world, which I think, equally lends them credibility and also makes the album better. Just makes the album better if you have cool friends come and play on your albums. For years, Metallica didn't allow guests on their albums. Probot. Which I think Troy is on Probot, if I'm not mistaken, as a bassist and a vocalist.
I don't recall.
And one of these guys is on the Probot album also as a vocalist, incidentally. So we kick off the album. I'm just going to go right into it. We kick off the album with one of the most iconic Mastodon songs ever, Blood and Thunder, known for that chopping opening riff. And also Mastodon's, not only their opening songs are always peak, they have a habit of doing these like unbelievable first opening lyrics. I think that someone's trying to kill me is one of the greatest opening lines to a modern metal song. And amazing riff, and also features in the very first drum beat of the song what I call the Scooby-Doo or the Flintstones driving a car riff. You know, when Fred Flintstone at the beginning of the Flintstones is trying to start up the car and you hear the like, right? That little motion with his feet to rev up the Stone Age car. That's the drum fill that is Bron Dollar's favorite drum fill, the like really crazy frantic toms. And it comes up over and over again across their career.
Normally I would interrupt, but I'm just going to let you cook.
Yeah, I'm just going to cook. And then so there are whole albums where he took it away from himself. He's like, I on purpose did not play my favorite drum fill, and then he'll bring it back and play it again, like he did on the last Mastodon record where he brought it back. Because like fans immediately they hear it. It's very similar to former Lamb of God drummer Chris Adler, who would also do like a crazy drum solo or a drum fill that it was unmistakably him. And so Blood and Thunder, also featuring Neil Fallon of Clutch on the vocals, who also put out an incredible album in 2004, Blast Tyrant, one of their best. Thoughts on Blood and Thunder, the opening track?
God, I wish I loved Clutch. I wish I loved Mastodon. It's a song. It's a song, and it's definitely about whales. White whales, because he mentions them. And I listened to this album twice. I did. I listened to these records, and I was thinking about this as I was walking the Dollar Tree today. So, moving on.
It is one of the most favorite songs. Top 5
Neat.
Mastodon song, I'd say.
Neat.
Continuing. Number 2. I Am Ahab. I Am Ahab. Proggy thrash metal at its best. Very expositional. The story of Moby Dick, basically, in a song. Talks about the like blind obsession, like when you're so focused on something you can't train your eyes off of it or take your attention away from it. And what it does to you, it definitely makes you paranoid and lose your shit.
If you're gonna redo Moby Dick, I would rather you be Ahab, the nautical doom metal band, or Peggy Segal? No. Shit, what's her name? Peg Bundy.
Katie Segal, yeah, Katie Segal.
Katie Segal, thank you.
From Sons of Anarchy.
Futurama. I'm sorry, I'm still watching it, and you know what? This season
It was terrible.
It is terrible. It is fucking awful. Billy West can no longer do Fry's voice.
Oh no.
We have not. I'm like 7 or 8 episodes into this season, and there has not been one Fry episode yet because he can't do the voice anymore.
No thoughts on I Am Ahab. I assume
it's a song.
you're just gonna,
I mean, it's a song. It's you know what? There's riffs, there's solos, there's vocals. I love all the parts, but
there isn't a solo. I Am Ahab is 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and there is not a technical guitar solo.
Eat your own butt.
Song.
Own
butt.
I'm not flexible anymore. I'm not a goalie anymore.
Not anymore. Wait a minute.
What? I used to be a goalie.
I know, but you used to eat your own butt though. Like that's,
I there was probably a time when I could have. If I used to.
Cameron stomps the puck. Cameron standing on his head stomps the puck.
You can't eat your own butt through the cup and the pants. I mean, those goalie pants are thick.
They're very thick. They've had it.
Yeah, seriously. Moving on.
Why are you wearing hockey pads? Anyway, that's my Batman.
Goalie hockey pants.
I am vengeance. Anyway, so Batman.
I am pants.
So no thoughts on I Am Ahab. Third track, also nautically themed. Again, Sea Beast. Another song about a whale. Another nautical drum beat. So like Tool has done this. Dream Theater has done this. Evergrey is a band that does a lot of songs about ships. Pirate metal bands do this nautical. You said sea shanty or sea Chianti or something.
Not Chianti and fava beans and a.
I ate his liver with a nice Chianti. But nautical drum beats and progressive metal, and finally some ripping lead guitar from both Brent and Bill Kelleher.
This is the Buckethead song.
It's not unfair.
You know the problem with it is, though? I mean, when Buckethead does it, he's crazy. And it's fine. When anybody else does it, what are we doing? And I've nothing, again, and I listened to this record twice. You can't change every other measure. When you do that, I can't follow you.
So that's fair. So here's two things that I think I want to talk about at this juncture of the album for Sea Beast. This is the album, last record. One of your complaints was that all the songs kind of sound the same. None of these songs sound alike. They're similar, but they're not alike. If you
But
understand
they
what I mean, like
all feel the same because they don't have a structure.
I think they have more
That
of a
is
structure than you think.
more of a structure than last week.
The
Yes.
shorter songs have a structure. The longer songs meander. I'll give you that, but they meander in the best ways. Now, here's the other thing. This is the song where Brent does all the lead vocals, and what happens is, first record EPs, screamy, screamy, different kinds of screamy, low screamy, high screamy, weird screamy, crazy screamy. This record, both guys scream and sing. And you hear that Troy starts to develop a singing voice, and Brent starts to hone in on his vocals a little better, like a higher quality, not palpable, by not commercial, but just more, just they definitely stepped up their skills as vocalists, which will help them on the next records where they really leap up.
Soft.
Ron is not singing lead yet. What?
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. That's this
Christ.
record, man. This record is all over the place. I can't look. It's like listening to Yes, bro.
I love Yes.
I like
this is
Yes.
my band.
I don't love
this is a modern version of King Crimson or Yes for me.
Exactly. It totally is that.
With no irony.
None. No, absolutely none. I do not mean that ironically or insultingly. I mean, this is like listening to the fuckers that are like, you know what this needs? Flamenco followed by polka. And then, you know what? Throw some stoner in there. Nailed it. Yes. Relayer. You know what? Drop some classical bullshit and then scream for 30 seconds.
Long distance run around. Do. Anyway.
So are we doing Soft Kitty again? Or okay, moving on.
All right, moving on. Island is the third song, kind of fast, thrashy prog. Also,
it is
all over
not
the place.
In the stream.
This is probably ouch. I don't think this record has a soft underbelly because it's basically a 9 or a 10 of 10 for me. But this would be
no. I completely agree with that statement. The first part, there is no soft underbelly. This has one song. This album is one. This album is like Dark Side of the Moon for me.
You could have said that about you could have said that about Remission. I think this album's much differentiated. But anyway, another top tier song.
Okay. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
I don't understand you when you don't like things that are normal. You're allowed to not like it, but like this all sounds the same, just seems like, I don't know.
I did not say that. I said it specifically does not sound the same. However, it's still one song to me. This is one song with 1,000 billion movements. It's like Dark Side of the Moon for me. I just like Dark Side way better.
Believe in Chasing Amy, Jay says to Holden.
There was no Shermer, Illinois.
One bitch with many faces.
Yeah, same difference, man.
That's from Dogma. There's no Shermer in Illinois.
I know where you think I don't know. I mean, really, you think I don't know?
You might not. So still a top tier song by the band Iron Tusk, with a very distinctive, different riff than any other riff on this album. Incredible, non-stop riffing. Great lyrics about being a sailor and being on a ship whaling. If there was a song on this album that literally was the pirate from SpongeBob, it'd be this song.
Is this a song with the Harvester or the Eye of the Beholder riff? Or did I miss it?
I think that's later. That's not this one.
Okay, I just want to clarify. None of these songs sound the same to the previous song. And none of these songs sound the same to the next riff that this song plays in 8 seconds from the riff they played. These songs are like classical piano pieces where you've got the rhythm section and then you've got the melody section going all over the place. Hey, if you like that, that's awesome, and I'm happy for you. And I want you to have wonderful, warm fireplace sex with a woolly mammoth or a mastodon. Or Brent Hines, and you have a great weekend. It doesn't work for this guy.
Well, okay then. The next song
I'm trying to get more and more ridiculous with everything I say.
Iron Tusk and Blood and Thunder, two of still of the enduring best songs by the band. Anywho, and for years they were out of the set list because the band got sick of playing them. By the way, similar to Lamb of God.
I love that. I love hearing that. Wonderful. Piss
They
off the
took it out of the
fans.
set.
Piss them
A
off.
little
Piss
bit,
them off.
a little bit. Then they brought them back less. Obviously, for this record, they played the whole record, but before this, they weren't playing it that much. Neither of them. Megalodon. I said the other song was proggy thrash. This is thrashy prog. Understand the difference. The next song, I'll go quickly. The next song is Naked Burn, another wailing song, basically, also about madness. And that's a recurring.
Hang on. Can I play with it?
You can play with it.
Can I play with madness?
You could. Very Melvin-y and Today is the Day influence, of course. Brent on lead vocals again, and probably my favorite Brent vocals on this album, where he can be harsh, but he's also got a little bit of soul in there.
If I did not say it, I really enjoyed his vocals on this record. I mean, really good.
Yeah, they both took a step up, and it's going to increase even more going forward. 3 songs left on the album proper. Speaking of madness, Aqua Dementia, from being out on the sea too long, being away at sea and hallucinating and seeing things.
That checks out.
Nautical drum beats, just sludge doom, stoner doom, sludge doom.
I don't think nautical drum beats is a cromulent phrase. That does not embiggen me.
Okay, big words. I'm drinking a beer, so my brain cells are shrinking. This is the first song. We're not going to talk extensively about this, but you can't, unfortunately, discuss the band without discussing this guy, Scott Kelly of Neurosis. They are huge Neurosis fans, as was I. Scott Kelly is now kind of persona non grata. The band is broken up. We're not going to extensively discuss why. Scott is not a nice or good person. He claimed to have mental illness and took it out on his family. But he featured on every Mastodon album for a while after this. And they even played a secret show in London a while back for Kerrang. Kerrang at one point had like a bar in Brooklyn and a bar in London, and they would do pop-up little intimate 100-person shows. So they did a set with Mastodon. They were like, hey, Mastodon, we'd like you to play to like 100 people in London. And they're like, cool, how about we only do the Scott Kelly songs? And they had Scott come in, and they just did a set of those songs, which is a really cool idea if you think about it. So they used to bring in Scott, because Scott's got such a distinctive, grating metal voice, contrasted to Brent and Troy, that he sounded perfect with them. He really, makes his appearances felt, and he's going to pop up. We won't talk again about the issues, but we'll just mention his collaborations. Then, for the next to last song of the album, no doubt a boring song to Nick, Hearts Alive, which is almost 14 minutes long, and it's mostly instrumental with a bit of vocals in it here and there, but it's really the closest thing to a Yes or a Genesis, like a Pete Banks, Steve Howe crazy guitar workouts.
Yeah, this is definitely the closest thing to 1974 with the
Rush 2112 on shrooms.
No, don't insult 2112. I mean, that song is brilliant.
I meant the whole album.
Wait, there's a second part?
Like if Temples of Sphinx was like an hour long instead of
nobody listens to the other side of 2112. Let's call a thing what it is.
I mean, I could play the whole album when I was 15. So
why?
16,
what's on the other side?
Geddy Lee's bass, bro.
Name a song?
All of them. The suite of the
all of them.
Different Sphinx and stuff. Anyway, I know you were not gonna like this one. I particularly love this song. This is like, in a lot of ways, guides what they're doing. I don't know the order these were written in. It's not one of those things like Metallica where you can almost pick out the order they were made in. And then the closing song of the album has nothing to do with whales or the sea, but it does have to do with another favorite Masto topic, Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man. And so the song is yet another instrumental about the Elephant Man. And I dare I say it's a folk song.
It is. And then, you know what? I turned it off both times I listened to this record without knowing it was about Joseph Merrick. Only Buckethead in my world can sing about, and he doesn't sing about him, Joseph Merrick. If you have not heard...
Sing.
No, he doesn't. If you have not heard Buckethead Land 2, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And I would say that is the quintessential Buckethead record. And if I might, I would say that Mastodon heard that record and did way too much of it on this one.
That's fair.
If I could also
This,
say, this might surprise you. I enjoyed this record far more than last week. I would not say I enjoy this album, but I don't enjoy any of the songs. Does that make sense?
I guess you can appreciate it. You can appreciate the talent there. You just don't
Yeah,
like the
there,
name.
all the parts are there,
Songmaking.
all the pieces are there. They just did not put them together in a way that I enjoy.
So, last licks. By the way, the folk element here and a lot of the acoustic guitar playing here is like very accomplished classical guitar from both Brent and Bill, who are great guitarists. I don't know why the garbage is being picked
Totally,
up
yeah,
at
totally.
6:17 on a Wednesday night in San Francisco. But you see Baroness use this kind of device, right? Like let's have this whole record of raging and then break it up with like a lot of acoustic pleasantries, earworms,
Straight up Metallica technique.
also Metallica. On the vinyl versions of this album, so that's Leviathan, the proper album, 10 songs. On the vinyl versions of this album, I Am Ahab and Island were moved to different tracks for whatever reason for the vinyl sequencing. And then there was the vinyl box set version that came a little later. And this is why I mentioned this. I mentioned Emerald in the last episode, their Thin Lizzy cover. So there was a period you were talked about this
Great
also.
song, just great song.
Great song, and my second favorite Thin Lizzy song, and an incredible cover, which Nick still didn't listen to because he would not shut up about it if he did. So, there was a thing, Kerrang and Metal Hammer used to do this, like modern metal bands cover Metallica, Trivium does Master of Puppets, Machine Head does this and that. So I got that wrong, but you understand what I'm saying. I think Trivium did Battery and Machine Head did Master of Puppets, blah, 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 blah. So those would be like every band would go in and contribute a cover. So Melvin's on the deluxe vinyl box set version of this album threw in their covers on the vinyl, worth having just for that. I know I have it. I don't have it to check, but I have it. The Bit by Melvin's, arguably their most famous or one of their most famous songs. Emerald by Thin Lizzy.
Is that the Hammer for like 20-minute song?
No, that's no.
That's the one I remember really well.
That's a good one though. Or maybe it is the Hammer one.
Sorry.
Emerald by Lizzy. Shut up. Next series, Melvin's. Anyway, all 50 albums of them.
Keefy.
And the podcast is over. We retired.
No,
Join me next time for my podcast and Volume for All with my new co-host, Quinn.
Join my next podcast. Lulu is fucking great. Keefy sucks balls.
That will be the time. I will never do it. But if you, like I said, I gave you an out. If you want to do Lulu without me,
you know what?
Off.
I'll just say this. You're right. I am totally loving these albums that I knew I hated. Yeah, so you totally should not do one you hate.
No, I can't. But that one I can't do. I can't do it. I'll do any other record. I'll do Journey, but I will not do Lulu. I'll do Journey.
Okay, we're going to do it. Okay, here's your choice. Lulu or a 10-part Journey series?
Jesus Christ, no.
You fucking queened me. You queened me.
You queened you. You chose Queen. I didn't choose Queen.
I did not choose Queen for 3 months. Queen. Not for 3. I did not 3 months.
That's true, but I had to do Flash Gordon. I'm sorry, it's the law. I don't make the
we could have started later.
You should have started a Flash Gordon. You should have did the game and Flash Gordon and nothing else.
And called it a day. Just called it a fucking day.
And you know what else? We should have known better because you know what? Queen
does never had a fully.
They don't have fully great records.
You know the worst part about it is my dumbass keeps buying their records because I'm like, I'll find one that we didn't find that's better than everything we listened to. We listened to all of them.
You know, the final cover on the Mastodon Leviathan with an A box set of vinyl is Orion, which is also an incredible cover by Mastodon because Troy is a wonderful bass player. He got the Morley wah and the Bogner amp, and he did it just like Cliff. And
Cliff did it with a Crybaby.
Morley.
Jason used the Morley.
No. Yeah. Backwards.
No.
Backwards. No, Crybaby. Cliff has a Crybaby wah now that's out. You can buy, and I had a Crybaby because of bassist that I like. But
you know what? I bought a Crybaby and I spent $130 on it, when he could have gotten his $70 at the in the catalog.
And they all have
But
like a weird. The clicker is funky
Yeah.
on it. I never.
But you know what? No, my clicker is you gotta hit it right in the middle. But you know what? That fucking pedal in 2024 that I bought in 1994 still works. So
Yeah,
you know what? I dig
one of my trademarks was when I played in bands, especially the thrash band. I had the Crybaby on and just set. I never rocked it. I just set it to a
Oh,
setting.
straight
Just
Kirk Hammett. That's straight Kirk Hammett stuff.
Slightly, well, not just slightly on to give the bass a little definition, but I never had it. I never did the.
No, what Kirk did in the beginning, in the very beginning, what Kirk Hammett did, because he had a bass amp like I did, when he would play a solo, he would click on his Crybaby and leave it fully treble, and then click it off at the end.
Fair enough. Here's my final thoughts on Leviathan. It is a classic. Nick doesn't like it, but it is acknowledged a classic. Many people consider it a 9 or a 10 of 10. I consider this a 10 of 10. Nick, on a 10 scale with no half marks, you gave the other record a 5, I think.
I call this one a straight 7. However,
Okay.
Let me say, 1, I'm extraordinarily disappointed. The Black Ranger from Power Rangers, or Kyoryo Sentai Zoo Rangers, should you prefer, did not show up. I was expecting this to be a little bit about a Mastodon made of robots, but none of that. Seriously, though, this record is so much better than the previous. I enjoyed every part of this album. Okay, to be clear, there is no part, there is no riff, there is no solo, there is no vocal that I didn't like. That being said, with all due respect, have I made it clear where I'm going next? This album sucks. I don't enjoy it because the songs don't feel like songs to me. When Buckethead does it, I mean, Buckethead's crazy. I mean, we know that he's just gonna go nuts and, play all kinds of wacky solos and rock that wah and wear a chicken bucket on his head. Hell, he might have bought a bucket of chicken today and cut holes in the damn thing. I don't know. When somebody like Mastodon, that I'm supposed to believe is this amazing band, does this, it feels like the writing process could have been better. And I will check back in next time we get to Buckethead. I mean Mastodon.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, I'll let you have that.
Well, I mean, you did say you thought the next one would be up my alley.
I think then I'm going to make a bold prediction. The next one's going to be up your alley, and you will enjoy it, and the one after it you will love. And if you don't, I will eat my fucking hat. Fucking hat.
Not listen to Lulu. Okay.
I'm never going to listen to it again. Don't even ask. I won't. I will not. I'll do one Journey record or a short Journey series. I will not do 10 Journey records. You're crazy. They don't even have 10 good records.
No, they don't have one good record. Those guys fucking suck.
They definitely probably have good records.
I mean, they have many good records as Mastodon does. But
you have had to hear a chorus of white Boston girls who sound like Blake Lively in The Town sing Just a Small Town.
Wait, she was in The Town?
She's the best part of The Town besides.
Oh my God. I thought the best part of The Town was Ben Affleck.
I mean, he directed it and wrote it.
Did he?
It's pretty great.
Oh, and Hawkeye was in
it. Renner, who is Hawkeye, he's not from Boston. He did the perfect Boston goon accent alongside other Boston guys like Slane.
That was like a good... Anyway, moving on.
This would be a good chaser in addition to a rap series we haven't done yet, La Coca Nostra from Boston, the Boston Rappers, as a small series.
Finish this up. I gotta pee.
I gotta go.
My turn. All right, Keefy.
Why did you write that you were so lonely in Messenger before we started this? You waited like 1 minute for me.
I know.
I was ready early, and then you couldn't make it. So
You didn't. You have to let me know, bro. Okay, look. I'm gonna put this on the podcast. I didn't expect to. Here we are. Now I'm telling Cameron family fucking secrets, bro. 6:30 p.m. Central Time is when I serve dinner. It's when I serve dinner. Because you know what? That gives me 45-minute period to listen to a record, drink a beer when I get home from work. And then I cook dinner. So, yeah. You have to let me know before 4 if you're gonna make it early. Alrighty, thank you, everybody. I apologize. You know what, everybody? Thank you very much for listening. This is a weird series because Keefy loves it. I hate it. I respect it. I can respect but not enjoy. And that's something I tried to tell somebody a long time ago. And lawyer wife thought I was going to get my ass kicked for saying that I do not enjoy Trent Reznor. However, I respect the shit out of him. So moving forward, we are going to do a chaser next week. I am going to piss myself here briefly if we do not finish, which we means me. Go
Episode
ahead.
200. Episode 200.
Oh shit! This is episode 199. We have not mentioned that, and I thought about that today, and I was like, "Holy crap! 199 episodes. That is great. That is amazing." Keefy and I think, have done an amazing job of staying on track, on board, and you know what? Figuring out how in the world we can get an episode in each week, and I think we've done a great job. And you know, Keefy started around episode 20 or 25, something around that time, and here we are. So next week we are going to do, because Keefy's in charge now, apparently we're going to do whatever the hell he wants to do, as long as I can figure out how to make it work. But anyway, you know what? Thank you for. I know there's a few people that are listening or watching right now that have been with me and then Keefy for a very long time. And that's crazy. And, you know, I don't mean to be the self-depreciating guy from, you know, wherever, but I am literally a dude living in South St. Louis. And if you look to my left, you know how much I love this town. But when you get outside of here, we're looked down upon. So the fact that people are listening to this weekly and care what we have to say is really cool. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate everybody that listens and everybody that tunes in each week on YouTube. And just for the record, we are doing a giveaway, a vinyl giveaway. There's going to be a first and a second prize. First prize gets Jews, second prize gets whatever is left over. So please like and subscribe. That's all you have to do. Just subscribe to the channel. With that, I will say, Keefy, thank you for giving me your clout, your hair. Because look at this. I'm
You
kidding.
have more hair than me, unless you're counting body hair.
I assume you gave me your hair, which is why I still have this delightful salt and pepper going on. Just for the record, Duke Cannon news anchor shampoo. Check it out. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us this week. Thank you very much for joining us every week if you do. I hate to say this, but this has been the Glacially Musical Podcast. Does not play in Peoria.